Hello, I'm Liv Cruzette and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're coming back to my channel. Today I'm super excited. I'm going to be talking with you guys about what a dark night of the soul is, and we're going to talk about some signs that you may be going through it. A dark night of the soul is actually what happens right before you go through a spiritual awakening, and in some ways it can happen simultaneously. But we'll talk about the dark night of the soul, which is some of the more negative effects of you going through this, which I don't want you to think of it as necessarily a negative experience. It's really, the way to kind of think about it is you go through some challenging times because you are either shedding your ego, or like think of it like a snake who sheds its skin and a brand new shiny coat comes through. So in order to reach your new level of spiritual ascension and awakening, you do have to go through this time of a little bit of darkness, and just the best way to describe it is you feel lost, uncertain, things like that. But I'm actually going to go into the symptoms and talk a little bit about each one of those. So let's jump into it. The first sign that you're going through this is that you feel isolated from others. Maybe even people you're super close with, your friends, your family. You feel kind of isolated from everyone. And life in general. This is something that I really went through. I was living with my boyfriend. I have my friends and my family to rely on, but I just felt so alone because I was going through this just really hard time where I was just kind of questioning everything, questioning my life, questioning my job, questioning what I was doing, questioning my passions, just really questioning everything. Always kind of thinking about, I think I'd always thought about this my entire life, but really it was coming up a lot of just like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I meant to do? How am I supposed to help others on this planet? I've always known and felt this strong connection with wanting to help others, but I didn't know how or what to do that. And a big part of that, again, is feeling like emptiness. I felt a lot of emptiness as I was kind of going through this very dark time before, kind of getting slowly into my spiritual awakening process. It may feel like you're going through an existential crisis, quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, etc., and just where your old way of living doesn't really vibrate with the new way of how you want to live. Another feeling you might have is you feel abandoned by Source, God, the Creator, whatever you want to call it. I think a question I asked a lot is like, I want to help the planet. I want to do something, but I just don't know what, and why won't you give me the signs? Like, all I want to do is help and do good. Like, why won't you help me? And that's absolutely a feeling of going through this, where you feel alone and very cut off from Source. Another, and this one I feel like is kind of obvious based on what I'm saying, but you might feel just depressed and not motivated to do the same things you used to do. So again, for me, it came a lot in my job. I had no motivation to do my job or go into my corporate job. It was doing nothing for me. And that was really difficult for me. It was hard waking up in the morning. It was such a drag. And I just really questioned everything and myself and my intuition, and even questioned, am I special? Am I unique? Do I have a purpose? Maybe I don't. Maybe that's just something that I have always felt, but just isn't true. And that was a really hard part of the transition as well. Another one, and I think this might be something a lot of us feel right now, is you just feel a lot of horror and disgust and disconnection from everything going on in the news, in the planet, the way we're treating the planet, Mother Earth, everything. You just feel such a disconnection from it and don't understand why there's evil in this world. Why is there evil? Why are people doing these things? Why are we going in this direction as humans? So that's another really tough one to go through. You may also feel super lost and just not knowing which direction to go, what to do. Again, just some of your passions just not giving you the same fire that they used to. And for me, it was like a feeling of perpetuated stuckness. I felt stuck all the time. I was like, I just don't know how to get past this. And this happened for me for a very long time, at least 2 years. So you could be going through this for a very long time before you start getting to the positive effects of the spiritual awakening. And I think a lot of that has to do with listening to your purpose and your passions and following what you're passionate for. But I will talk about that in the next video. Something that happened for me a lot, and maybe happening for you guys as well, is an emotional purging. I was having a lot of really intense nightmares. And for me, I was a daily weed smoker, and that prevented me from remembering a lot of my dreams. But I would be waking up just in absolute horror from a nightmare that I was having that felt so real and was terrifying. And I also was having, intense memories from my childhood and from my past, things that really pained me. And a lot of that, I think, is, you know, those things have to bubble up to the surface for you to let go of those and fully release those before you can start again. You know, it's like shedding that snake skin and allowing for that shiny new you to come out. So that was one thing that happened for me as well. During this time, I also found out and was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I don't like to call it BPD. I like to call it highly sensitive person. That's a term that's out there, and I'll do another video on this in the future, but I want to talk about how this can really be a superpower versus mental illness. And in fact, I think it is. So excited to share that with you guys. For now, I'll get back to this list. Yeah, so I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and it was just really hard because I was just so affected by everyone around me, all their emotions, all their energy, and living in a city like New York City, like I do, is even more intense for people who experience this. And for me, you know, part of it was so hard for me to go on my daily commute going to and from on the subway, because I could feel so many people are doing that, and so many people are miserable while they're heading to their corporate job or leaving their corporate job. And I sucked all that energy in, and it stuck with me, and it was so hard to shed and let go of, and it would affect my whole day. And that was really difficult to go through. And I actually have a tip if this is happening to you, and I'm going to share that right now actually. Something that Ankke, one of my favorite medium that I talk to on a frequent basis in San Francisco, and I'll link her info down below if she gives me permission to, but she actually told me to do a visualization and exercise while I'm on the subway of people's negative energy coming towards me, and then I have this bubble, like protective bubble around me, and then, you know, anytime that negative energy was coming in, I would pop positive energy back out. And I kind of made this a fun visualization game where I would turn everything into, all the negative energy would come like static and crazy, and then it would bounce off my protective bubble and bounce into this beautiful rainbow bubbles, and it would almost make me laugh and giggle while I was on the train, and people probably thought I was crazy because I would just be like bouncing, and I felt like going to the good witch, just like bubbles, bubbles. It was great. So that's something I highly recommend if you are also in a city and you have to go through these commutes and you're sucking in all this energy. What you want to do is just, again, push out positive energy from that negative energy. That's really important. Push out a positive energy into the world rather than, you know, putting any negative energy or feeling negatively about the negative energy coming to you, because you're only adding more negative energy into the world. So instead, you know, really visualize putting out positive energy into the world. That's really important. Another intense one is you may feel like you're dying, and this could be physical, this could be in a spiritual way. You're just like, you get this feeling of like you're dying, and that's because your ego is dying and a part of you is dying. But to let in the new light you and allow your higher self to fill you more into this physical body. And sounds negative and it sounds horrible, but this also could be a sign of you going through this, you know, darkness before the light, basically. That is all for the list that I have. There's more signs, but I don't want to continue blasting so many of these at you, so I'm sorry for going through this. It's a really hard time. Weirdly enough, my really close girlfriends who I know are in my soul family, we all were kind of going through this at the same time, just this quarter life crisis, basically, this existential crisis of like, what am I doing? Why am I here? You know, all kind of feeling like, something has to give, like I don't know what to do, I don't know which direction to go, I just feel lost and stuck. And it's really, really hard place to be in. And if you can find other people that are going through that, it really, really helps to connect with them and talk about it. And maybe you don't even know others are going through it, but I suggest talking to other people about it and getting it out there, because most likely someone else is going through it, and it really helps to have a team and know that you can go through it together. And a lot of the people who are in your soul family are the people who will be going through a lot of the same things, because you're meant to help each other, and you're meant to take what you've learned, take what they've learned, and really help each other to get to the high vibrational place that you need to be. So remember that, and I hope this helps. I know, you know, it's a really, really hard time to go through. I just wish you the best of luck, and I hope that you will meditate and realize that lightness is coming. And in my next video, I will talk about, you know, signs that you're going through spiritual awakening. So super excited for that, super excited to share that with you guys. And thanks for watching, and I hope you will subscribe and like this video. Let me know that you're enjoying this content. I want to create more, but I will only do it if you guys are enjoying it. So thank you so much for watching. Love and light to you all. Maybe even
Cleo, no, right now.
Like you're having an existential crisis.
you know, have like you're through an existential, why is that so hard for me to say?
You want to just put that energy, put that negative energy, make it hit your, okay.